Oh my God, it was horrific. It's just like, the places that, because you look at the ads and you know what your budget is, so you trudge off to the inspection, and the amount of people looking at these hovels was just, it was ridiculous. Like I just took one look and was like, well, I'm not going to live here. I'll leave Sydney.
Since 1980, I've always lived between Newtown and King's Cross, Paddington. And so I know where everything is in these areas. I know where all my support systems, my friends, everyone is here. The idea of moving a long way away terrifies me, but because of affordable housing, I'm in a position where I can actually live near where I work, which is in Sydney.
There's police officers, there's nurses, there's teachers, there's receptionists, admin workers, pathologists, security guards. The list goes on. It's almost like we've got such an incredible tapestry of workers in the city of Sydney that live in this particular building. It speaks for itself that need is there. Not two units are the same. Every single one of them has a balcony with a general aspect. Some of them have amazing aspects of the city skyline, which are beautiful. And the construct of the building itself is sensitive to the landscape, the heritage landscape around. So we've incorporated elements, design elements from, say, the carriage works by incorporating certain light fittings that used to be in there. So being sensitive to the surrounds and the heritage that's actually been part of this area for quite some time. The two main communal areas are the garden areas. So there's the downstairs large garden area, which tenants have used for functions, for barbecues, for lunches, for parties, for yoga, for all sorts of fun stuff. And then we've got the rooftop garden, which is enclosed, and it's a smaller area. And so the garden group use that and have regular barbecues there and meet there quite regularly, and it's just flourishing.
It's just a really nice environment. Like, it's a beautifully built apartment. It's brand. I've never lived in a brand new place ever, so that was a kind of shock to the system.
I'm basically a security guard, but at this stage of my life, like many others, you're constantly changing jobs all the time. We live in what we call the gig economy, and at one stage I was working 3 or 4 jobs in 1 week. I do everything from security, exam invigilator, anything else that I can find to go along. Currently I'm looking for work in construction, because there's a construction boom.
Primarily my day job is teaching. So I teach media art casually down at Wollongong Uni, and I also teach straight ahead film editing. They're casual positions, and when I'm not doing that, I run a artist run organisation.
60% of our households are on very low and moderate income, and they're the households that affordable housing is catering for, and that means it's more than half of all of us. And I don't think a lot of people are aware that perhaps the barista that they got their coffee from this morning and the nurse that helped them when they were in emergency, they're all in that category and could be living in affordable housing near them.
A lot of the people we're talking about are people who are essential to the functioning of the city. And if places like this don't exist, they're almost certainly not going to be able to afford to live anywhere remotely close to where most of the work is nowadays, or certainly the employment growth.
With City West Housing, there's 3 bands, 1, 2 and 3. So it's very low and moderate. So depending on your household, your total household income, you fit into one of those bands. So at no point will you ever pay more than 30% of your household income in rent.
Research has shown that if nothing's specifically done to intervene, The type of housing that happens when we redevelop is very high end. But yeah, I think it would be 100% high income only product if nothing was done.
I mean, there are enormous opportunities here because government isn't only the land use planning agency; it's the owner of most of this land around here. So government actually has a huge opportunity, and if it misses that opportunity, it will be, I think, a kind of disgrace for Sydney that it does so, because this is an enormous renewal project which is going to run for 5, 10, 15 years at least. And the opportunity to include a much bigger proportion of affordable housing within that than is the norm across the city is an opportunity that really shouldn't be missed.
And there's so many different scenarios of people that moved into this building where they were living in boarding houses, they were living in shared accommodation, like parents with children living in shared accommodation, people that were living in rundown houses, just psychologically for them to have that security, to have a place where they know they can always afford the rent, somewhere that's close to work, somewhere where the maintenance is kept up, there's a sense of community, close to their social connections within the areas that they're used to being in. It's a world apart from where they came from, a lot of people came from. Knowing that you've got that key and that door and that you've got that safe place, it means everything.
As far as I'm concerned, there's only good things about living here. I mean, it was pretty much life-changing, I would have to say. Like, it's... I still literally... I'm not kidding. I pinch myself every day, like, when I wake up here.